Parallel Universes of Self by Frederick Dodson. We all use our awareness and intentions in one way or another, usually in a very similar way each day. Frederick Dodson, he's committed to show us that we are in charge of our reality, and he gives us all the tools that we will ever need in order to turn our awareness and intention into a wizard's wand that can turn any desire into reality. Sounds reasonable? Sounds far-fetched? Let's take a closer look at Parallel Universes of Self. Hi and welcome to the Book Lab. I'm Björn, and this is the place where we bring you the best book recommendations when it comes to philosophy, psychology, human nature and human potential. And today we are taking a closer look at Parallel Universes of Self by Frederick Dodson. I remember when I first saw Peter Jackson's Tintin in the cinema, and for the rest of that week I saw wire fox terriers everywhere. You probably experienced something similar. You get aware that something exists and suddenly you start to see it everywhere. This is because of a system in the brain called the Reticular Activating System, the RAS. The RAS works as a gatekeeper between your senses and the brain, and it filters out what goes in and what doesn't. Of course, these dogs has always been around, but my brain has deemed them as unimportant and filtered them out. But after paying focused attention to wire fox terriers in the Tintin movie, my brain realized that these small creatures must be important to me and decided to let them through my RAS filter. The fact that our brain works this way has great implications for how we experience the world, and that's what Parallel Universes of Self is about. This book basically states that you create your own reality, and you have to go into this book with an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls out. The main point of this book is that you can change how you experience your external world by changing or eliminating limiting core beliefs you have about yourself and refocusing your attention towards the things you actually want. By doing this, the external world will reflect your internal changes in a magical way. By being a different person, you will get different results. And taken to its extreme, this practice reaches almost mystical levels. What you believe you are inside will manifest in the external world. Quote, understanding that everything real is illusion, depending on the viewpoint, you can trade unfavorable illusions for more favorable ones. A film, for instance, can be many things. It can be an emotional experience. It can be directors, producers and actors. It can be pixels on a screen, and it can be atoms bouncing around, depending on the viewpoint. One of the more controversial ideas in this book is that action is only secondary to how you feel. This means, in short, that the shortest way to create any change in your life or the fulfillment of any desire is to experience yourself and the world as if it had already happened. This is the secret to reality creation, to start at the end. Quote, there is no other thing that operates independently of what you believe. One of the reasons I can't discard reality creation as just some new age mumbo jumbo is because I've seen it work so many times in my own life and in such favorable ways that it would be stupid of me to disregard such incredible source of magic. And one reason I keep reading books like this is because how these books explain how it works is usually exactly how I experience it myself. The typical example is that when I put my energy towards something and believe it's feasible, and because I've already seen evidence of reality creation working, I now even think a lot of improbable things are feasible. I commit to that reality without expectation, without forcing it, with a light heart and in a good mood, and it usually comes to fruition, often in an unexpected way. At one point I decided to become a voice actor for cartoons. This was during a period when I watched a lot of cartoons with my children, and I thought, that would be an interesting work doing voices for all these crazy characters. And during a party I mentioned this idea for a friend, and he challenged me to act on that hunch, so I committed to do so. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know anyone in that profession. I had no idea how to get into that business. I had no context. I never met anyone who did voice work at all. But I found myself on a release party for a video game that was just launching, that I've been working on, and I found myself in the bar chatting away with some dude in the bar. Suddenly he mentioned that he was an actor. I mentioned that I had the ambition to go into voice acting for cartoons. He mentioned that actually he did more voice acting than he did actual acting. This conversation resulted not only in him sharing the best strategies for how to land a job in the voice acting industry, he also put me in contact with his agent, and he promised to mentor me in my new career choice. This was 1 week after I decided to become a voice actor. As you probably understand, I didn't follow through on this commitment, but it was a fun example for this kind of manifestation. All these manifestations that I have experienced have one thing in common. They all happened during periods of my life where I felt really good, where I felt light-hearted, energized, where I wasn't forcing it, and when I had very little expectations. Quote, "When you stop chasing the world chases you." Feeling good on the inside is the starting point, otherwise magic doesn't work. And if you had similar experiences with manifestations and synchronicities, please share them in the comments. I would love to read about that. It's usually fascinating stories. And while you're down there, subscribe, like and share. It helps me reach more people with great books. And it's my mission to enlighten the world with books. I think it's one of the key components to living the good life. When you choose a new reality for yourself and become a new person, it's expected that the people around you might react with resistance. They might even try to pull you back down to your old reality. Not everyone likes to see people change for the better. It might shine a light on their stagnant state, and that might be uncomfortable. This is why peer pressure, assumed beliefs about what you think others expect from you, might pull you out of alignment with your newly claimed reality. And these beliefs might go all the way back to your childhood. Quote, "This is where the stress lies. Whenever you experience pressure, it's probably based on a core belief about what someone else is supposedly expecting from you. Although the circumstances have completely changed since your childhood, these beliefs are still operating on some level." Persistently resting in your shoes in reality means doing so despite disapproval from others and society. One of my main takeaways from this book, and one of the exercises that I implemented in my life, I tried out a lot of them, but this is my absolute favorite, and it's the intention list. This is a list where you write in the past tense as if something has already happened. This is a list of things that you want, intend, or things that you wouldn't mind happening, both general and specific, realistic and unrealistic. The purpose of this list is to blur the line between what you feel is realistic for you and what's unrealistic. An example of an intention list could read something like this. I took the car for repairs. I got my hair cut. I met someone very interesting. Surprisingly, I got 4 new customers. I gave Helena more love than she has ever received. I got money unexpectedly. I felt well rested and had a lot of energy. My sick dog recovered. I had an out-of-body experience. I had a vivid dream that showed me hints of my next big move in business. The main purpose of this exercise is to calibrate your focus and attention. And it's important also to let go of expectations. Some of these things might happen, some might not. That's not the main purpose. The purpose is to really set your focus on what you want and guide your attention. The main reason why we experience things the same way all the time is because we use our focus in the same way. Change your attention and you will experience a new world. Do you want a book that lifts your spirits? This is it. Parallel Universe of Self is an instant energy boost, and I've actually reread it immediately after finishing it the first time, and I've read it 3 times already. I have it just looping in my as an audiobook. It's kind of bonkers from one perspective, but it's also awesome and practical from another perspective. If you dare to wander outside your comfort zone a little bit and challenge the mainstream status quo understanding of how reality works, then this might be the most valuable tool you'll come across in order to realize your dreams and desires. The main reason I recommend this book is because of the results it has provided. I've been experimenting with the techniques from this book for about 3 months now, and it has yielded such interesting results that I've decided to continue reality surfing indefinitely. Life is just more fun, surprising and magical with this mindset, even if mainstream thinking would consider it utterly delusional. If you feel like you're stuck in a rut, if you're just open for new ideas or just want to take a break from reading a bunch of serious books, then pick this one up. It can be a game changer for you, and I'm actually adding this one to the great books list. This is a list of the most impactful books that I've ever read. I provide a link to that in the description below. And next week I'll be back with more grounded content for this channel. We're going back into the world of psychology. I've finished the book The Moral Animal, Why We Are the Way We Are, the new science of evolutionary psychology. This book has some great insights that I'm going to share probably next week. I'm also reading an old book. When I start dropping books like this, I know I'm supposed to end the video. I'm rereading an old favorite. It's been 7 years since I read it, I think. How to Influence and Influence People. I'm reading this for my book club, and I'm going to see how it holds up, and I'm going to share any insights with you. I'll be back next week with more book reviews, and until then, Björn out.